Okay, we're live.
Let's open the Du Bois County Council. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, everyone's here tonight, so we got a quorum. I'd like to start with the approval of the minutes of September 29th meeting. They were sent out, we had some modifications, I guess I should say, very revised, so entertain a motion if somebody doesn't.
I'll make a motion to
You have
approve
two
the
sets, you have the 29th.
I know, I'm just gonna do one of the.
29th ones, yep.
So this was the September 29th meeting. So we got a motion on the floor to approve those minutes. Have a second?
I'll second.
Sonia has seconded. So all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, so that passes. And then we got the minutes of the October 14th. I guess that was a public hearing on the budgets and a couple other items. So any changes, additions to that? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve the October 14th meeting.
I'll
Minutes.
move. I'll
Okay,
move.
Dina has made a motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Sonya's got it.
Go ahead, Brian. I'll second.
Sonia has seconded. Discussion, otherwise, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So, I thought Tammy Humbert was going to be here tonight, am I wrong?
You've got an open full agenda. She said you guys put it in the meeting, and she didn't really need to come talk about the other system. Sorry. Which I did last time.
Okay,
So then I changed it to.
Oh, okay.
After we do the budget.
okay, all right. So we'll start with the budgets then. On the Du Bois County Council, we have to adopt these budgets tonight. So the first one is the Du Bois County Council, or Du Bois County budget, I'm sorry. And again, we have to read the amount off that we're gonna vote on.
$37,988,357.
So we had the public hearing, so I guess I'll entertain a motion. If there's no discussion, entertain a motion to approve that amount.
I'll make that motion to approve that amount.
Meredith has made a motion. I have a second.
I'll second. Doug.
Doug was second. He seconded, so all in discussion. Otherwise, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I'm gonna pass these around, make sure you check the box that you said.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna pass around, it says draft, but it will be included in the minutes. This is the ordinance 2026, which is the salary ordinance that goes, and it's also the budget in the back part of it. It will be included on the minutes next time.
Okay, so we have to approve that salary ordinance for basically what we outlined. So I'll entertain a motion to approve that salary ordinance for 2026.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance.
Ryan has made a motion. May I have a second?
A second.
Alex has seconded. Further discussion? Otherwise, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So then we'll move on then to on the agenda I got, I think it's Solid Waste Management District, and it was $429,120. So discussion on that. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve that budget for 2026.
I'll make a motion to approve the budget for solid waste district.
So we got
I'll second.
a first and a second. Further discussion? Otherwise, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? then on the next one I have is the DuBois County Airport Authority, $2,845,900. So discussion on that. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve that for the DuBois County Airport Authority.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Sonia has made a motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Meredith has seconded. So further discussion. Otherwise, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, next I have the Northeast DuBois Fire District. And that is $135,300. Discussion on that. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve that.
Motion to approve Northeast DuBois Fire
Okay,
District.
Gina has made a motion. I have a second.
I'll second.
Brian has seconded. So, further discussion? Otherwise, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And then lastly here, I got the Northeast DuBois School Corporation, $12,237,468. Discussion?
I got one question, and I don't remember the reason, why the Northeast DuBois School Corporation, they have a, school board, but why do we manage their budget? I don't remember.
They're not an elected school board, they're appointed.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? So I'll entertain a motion to approve the 26 Northeast DuBois School Corporation.
I'll move we approve the Northeast DuBois School Corporation budget.
So Dina has made a motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Doug has seconded. Discussion. Otherwise, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, so is that all?
That's all the budget.
Okay, well, thank you. All right. Guess we're honored here tonight to have the county engineer. You could come up and introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. I think I met the majority of you. For those who I haven't met yet, it's a pleasure to meet you. So just say thanks for everything. Just looking forward to the opportunity. Figured it happened sooner than later. So I had a few items I was requesting additional appropriations on. Let's make sure I can explain them in detail. So if you have any questions on one of the first ones being community crossing matching grant funds. I did submit an application to NDOT for requesting the funds for community crossings for some paving projects in 2026. Community crossings has changed this year with the cap amount. NDOT used to award up to a max amount of $1.5 million. That has been since reduced to $1 million. So when I determine how much money we're going to apply for, we try to get as much as we can. So NDOT will give a cap of $1 million, and we would be required to match 20%. So at a minimum, you'd want to apply for 1.2 million. Now, this is all based on just my estimates. So my estimates, you add a little bit of contingency in there to make sure that when it goes out to bid to a contractor, you don't want the bids to come in below 1.2 million, because anything below 1.2 million, that's less you potentially get from the state, leave money on the table. So the amount that I ended up applying for community crossings came out to $1,391,843.55. Since NDOT will only award a max amount of $1 million, that would leave the county responsible for rounded up to $392,000. So I'm asking that to come from the LIT fund, and what's not used out of that would go back to the LIT fund. is what I would ask. Keep in mind, this is all based off of if NDOT awards us the project. If they do not award us the project, then all of that, the funds that would get appropriated would all go back to lit. One question you may have is, why would we appropriate these funds in advance of NDOT awarding them? Years past, we always waited for NDOT to award the funds, and then we would come and ask for additional appropriations. However, NDOT has changed the time from when NDOT gave notification of award to the time that you had to be under contract with the contractor. It used to be 4 months. That window has now been reduced to 3 months. It all goes back to there's just a lot of changes with community crossings. So when you break that timeline out, and if you say NDOT's going to award us these funds in December, which is when they anticipate it, we wouldn't be able to ask for funds and advertise at the beginning of January, try to get funds at the end of January. Then you start the bidding process, and you're maxing out that 3-month window. This made it difficult on counties and different agencies because that window is really tight. And so in order to make sure that we have a comfort level of making sure we can get it done within that 3-month window, the only way I feel comfortable doing that is getting funds set aside and appropriated in advance. And that's what some others are doing as well. There's games we got to play down, figure out, making sure we don't lose or give up any funds. Does that all make sense on that?
Do you put that in your budget? Did we put this 400,000 in the budget for this?
So we have paving projects we can do in-house that will come out of our highway fund. However, we're running close on that fund. And so we wouldn't be able to pull out of that this year. We would have to wait until next year when we get the full budget amount. And because of the timing of things, we wouldn't have that time to wait until next year. And that's why I'm asking for 100% out of lit. Years past, I know some months come out of lit, some months come out of highway. I don't know what those ratios looked like, but this year I would ask for 100% out of lit, being the 392,000.
I think, I spoke with Levi a couple times about it. I think he hit us up or talked to us, I shouldn't say hit us up, talked to us at the convention of the EIC convention, and described a little bit. We've always gone after these community corrections, or community crossings grants. I think we have to try to go after every dollar we can get because of the match, and it seems like they're going to go away. So I don't know what the rest of you think. We can open it up for other discussions or questions for Levi. He's well versed on what we need to do here.
I don't have any questions. All that you say makes sense. Sorry you have to work with a shorter time frame than
It's
everything else, but part of it.
the other counties and cities and towns would have to deal with the same thing, so we all kind of coordinate together to figure out.
Now, some
doing.
counties don't qualify because they don't have the surtax and wheel tax in place, right?
Well, for community crossings, the wheel tax doesn't apply to that. That would be if
Is it?
direct lane mile distributions, I think what you're talking about.
So, for the auditor, I guess, was this advertised already? So can we
Yes,
approve this
Has been
tonight?
advertised.
I really, I support this 100%. So I don't know what the rest of you think. I just think it's a good way to get $1 million from the state to help us with our local roads.
Don't want to leave money on the table.
Yes, I totally agree. I do have one question about the timing of the monies again, because I am in favor of this, but I'm just curious about the timing of the money again. So it would come out of our lit fund, so it would be ready to go. What's the first date that you would start utilizing money from that fund?
It would, ideally, we would be in contract with the contractor February to March of next year, 2026. once they begin paving, start invoicing is when money will start getting taken out. So that would be during the paving season next year, so late spring to early summer.
Okay, and then you talked about, I think you said the highway fund, there would be money in there to utilize that also.
We have some in there. We have about $100,000, a little over, and we're relying on that to get us through the end of the year without getting too close. And that's why we're asking for the lit, is because that is getting very tight to get us through to the end of the year.
Got it. Okay, fine, thank you.
Thanks.
Other questions, discussion? Otherwise, I'll make a motion to approve the $392,000 for community crossings match.
I'll second.
Discussion? Otherwise, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So,
Thank you all. So my next item I have is from the general fund. The line item is ADA in the amount of $50,000. So I am the county's ADA coordinator, and what that means is I have to make sure we are in compliance with an ADA transition plan. For us to be eligible to receive funds from the state or federal, it's a requirement to be in ADA compliance. And that comes with a whole list of things that we have to follow. So one of those is an ADA transition plan. We had our first transition plan put together back in 2012, and we paid a consultant to do that. And the goal was to pay a consultant the first time and then treat that as a living document and update it in-house. And fast forward to 2022, the state sent out a letter to a lot of the public agencies and counties and saying, hey, a lot of counties are not in compliance with the ADA plan. And a lot of counties went in panic mode, realized we may not get funds. So they updated the transition plan, is what we did. But the baseline is still from 2012. Now, fast forward to current day 2025, and NDOT is really holding our feet to the fire now as far as being in full compliance with ADA. One of those is community crossings, is they're telling folks that if you're not in compliance, you're not going to get community crossing monies. So it's come to the point that we need to work with a consultant to update the ADA transition plan. This was something I looked into really closely to see, can I do this in-house? Ideally, we would do this in-house. But the baseline of that ADA plan, as I mentioned, is from 2012, and it really has not been updated with the exception of changing some dates and some very minor updates. So we really have a 13-year-old plan, and looking through it, it doesn't make sense, nor do I have the amount of time commitment that's going to take, and also with some of the resources that would be needed to truly update the plan to where it needs to be at. I talked to some consultants about it to get some pricing on it, talked to NDOT about it, and we also talked to some other county engineers to see what are you doing. Neighboring counties are also paying a consultant to update their plan as well, and I feel that we don't really have a choice. I will say that after this gets updated, that I will be treating it as a living document and it will be maintained in-house. But I feel like I was handed something that is so old, it's so expired, I can't even make use of it without, I don't want to start fresh, but I want to do a hybrid version to where we keep as much as we can of the existing plan and have a consultant do more of the boots on the ground. They're going to come out and look at our county-owned facilities, the courthouse, the fairgrounds, the highway department, and the jail and such. And they look at your barriers, your deficiencies, your sidewalks, your railings, anything that they need to show that this gets put on the ADA plan. And then year after year, we can work with each department head and each facility and say, what do we want to fix? Are there certain barriers we want to fix, sidewalks? And you just do a little at a time over several years, And that's how you keep the plan up to date. You show progress, you have to track progress, document it. And unfortunately, we really don't have that. And so one, in my opinion, it's the right thing to do because ADA, it's not just being done as a formality to keep us in compliance. It is, but that's one thing. The other side is it's the right thing to do. And as a county, we should have a up-to-date ADA plan. As the ADA coordinator, I would feel more comfortable knowing that we have one.
So since, sorry,
No, you're good.
so since they're focusing more on this, are they setting up a timeline in which once we have this plan, we have to meet these, meet these goals of having so much of the plan completed by a certain time, or updating it as you go along and adding more to it and fixing the deficiencies in a certain timeline?
So right now, we've exceeded that. We haven't turned it in. We're out of compliance with the state. But we do have a thing called a commitment letter. Commitment letter is something that the county would sign, get to the state saying, we recognize we're not in compliance. Here's what we're doing. So show that we're making good faith efforts. We're teaming up with a consultant to get a transition plan put in place. And this is our timeline to do that work. So that commitment letter is what buys you time, and they were okay with that.
So as long as we get the items, action items, I guess, done in that timeline, then once we do that, we'll be in compliance or not.
That is correct.
Not in, so what would you say? Right now we're not in compliance, but they're letting us work on our deficiencies.
Yes.
They're not penalizing us as of right now.
And NDOT realizes that they have to work with the LPAs because majority of LPAs are not in compliance. So they're going to start holding our feet to the fire, but they also realize they have to be fair. But they are ramping that program up internally at NDOT, and they are really being strict about it now. So that's why we're pushing the ADA.
So did you say, I'm sorry if I missed this, did we have a site visit and then somebody indicated that we were not?
No, it wasn't a site visit. No, it was just
You were aware because of your
aware,
role? Yeah.
and we've had a lot of conversations and meetings about this in our Southwest District with other counties. And so we've all been talking, figuring out what each county is doing, talking to NDOT as well, talking with the consultants, just seeing if we're all on the same page. So.
And
So
this is
then this-
countywide, it's not just the highway.
Of course.
Because like our website has to be all ADA
Right,
compliant.
it's just that you're the point person for that
Yes.
entire effort on behalf of the entire county. And is that $50,000, is that appropriation, does that like go to that consulting? Do you already have a firm that's picked out for that, or that helps with those types of?
Yes, the firm would be the firm that did the initial one. And they gave me a price of $35,000 to $45,000. I asked for $50,000 to for sure cover it, but also that $50,000 would be in the ADA line item. So we need to have a certain amount of funds set aside each year in ADA to actually put towards some of these improvements. So anything that's left over would go towards correcting some of the deficiencies, anything that would show up in the transition plan.
What would be a glaring example that you could give right now for the county, anywhere in the county?
I can give a very simple one. It could be doorknobs. Somebody wants to come in and they can't open a doorknob a certain way. The style of doorknobs can make a big difference. That's just simple, starting out very small. It could be a restroom facility, maybe at 4-H grounds they can't get to because sidewalks aren't in compliance, or the courthouse. I know we put a lot of money into that to get a ramp to actually get into the courthouse. That was a very good example of a big ticket item that was done.
Of course, we would want to make all these changes, but did you say what is that ramification if someone doesn't make those changes? Are we penalized, somewhere just that we wouldn't be eligible for things like community crossings and other funding down the line? I just wanted to understand.
So if we don't have an updated ADA transition plan, we would not receive those funds, is what NDOT's telling us, because we're not in compliance, and NDOT isn't allowed to give federal funds out to the agencies unless they're in full compliance. So that would be the bridge inspection contract that we have. That's 80% federal, 20% local. We wouldn't be eligible for that. We wouldn't be eligible for community crossings. We wouldn't be eligible for any federal or state grants or funds. And this applies on just the highways. What we apply for, the whole county.
That seems to make sense to me. If you said there's been a 13-year gap, it makes sense, in my opinion, to work with someone to bring us back up to speed. And I appreciate that fact that you said that you would work to maintain those efforts after, to try and year by year make those incremental changes or whatever needs to be done. So makes sense to me.
Okay, further questions for county engineer?
I'm gonna piggyback on this. We need $1,000 in our employee assistance program. And we put it all on one form because it's all under the commissioners. The ADA plan and the EAP are all under, so we're asking for $51,000. 1,000 being for EAP and 50 for the ADA.
Can you briefly explain the employee assistance program? I guess I don't know what that is.
When we, every month we pay for the number of people that we have, number of employees. It's a per member per month invoice, and there was not enough put in that line item last year.
Oh, okay, I follow you. So it basically costs more than that, it's just that this is what we're short. Right. Okay, so, I mean, if there's no further discussion, I guess I'll entertain a motion to approve that $50,000 out of the general fund for this ADA transition planning.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Doug has made a motion, I have a second.
I'll second.
Meredith is seconded, so discussion. Otherwise, all in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? I think you got
Got a few more items here.
Go ahead.
I
Go ahead.
understand them over time. Appreciate it.
You're also getting expensive.
I am, that's why I'm here though too, so. I've got out of the Hume Bridge, a materials line item, I'm going to request $150,000. That's to pay for the materials to get us through to the end of the year, paying for steel beams, paying concrete for the bridge deck, rebar. We're running short in that fund, and that's approximately what it's gonna take to continue completing our jobs to finish this out for the year.
So we gotta understand that's coming out of the King Bridge, so that's not,
I have materials, 150,000, and then I have the tools at 11,000, all on the same thing.
Okay, so tools and equipment for 11,000, coming out of Hume Bridge also, and that is to pay for a welder that is 94 years old, that we can no longer maintain, and it is not working, so it's gonna be replacing that.
did you say 94 years old? It's not 90.
31 years old.
Okay.
Damn, that's a good welder.
It was from 1994.
You not had a portable welder at that
Yeah.
point, maybe.
That would be impressive.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, glad you caught that.
So, again, questions on that or discussion on that for anyone? Otherwise, I entertain a motion to have additional appropriation on Hume Bridge for, do we have to do it individually?
No, 161,000.
161,000.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Ryan has made a motion, you have a second.
I'll second.
Dina has second, so discussion. Otherwise, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Sandy, did you get the
The
highway?
other one from Cambridge, there's another one, it's just a different category.
And that's for the,
The 25,000 for
25,000.
highway reimbursement.
okay,
When the people in the highway do work for the Cambridge has to reimburse the highway fund,
okay.
and vice versa.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve that 25,000 additional.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
So Sonia has made the motion and Ryan second, so discussion. Otherwise, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed?
The last item I have is the copies that I handed out. It's a financial letter of commitment. So there is a bridge safety improvement grant that's going to be opening up this November. You may recall seeing this similar letter last year. This is the exact same letter other than the dates being changed. So this was for a grant that would update a lot of guardrail end treatments on our bridges. We've got 162 bridges in the county, and approximately 75% of them have guardrail end treatments that need to be addressed per the National Bridge Inspection. So this funding would be used to get the railings of 50 to 60 bridges up to current standards. This is one of those grants you really push hard to go after because it's 90% federal with a 10% match. We had the full grant application, the whole package, everything prepared, ready to be submitted in November 2024. Unfortunately, we were not able to submit that, but in 24, Mike did sign a letter of financial commitment, which is a requirement for that grant application. So fast forward to now, we want to go back after that, resubmit it. We've got everything prepared. I just wanted to update the date on this. And the dollar amounts actually lowered on the engineering a little bit. So it comes to a total estimated financial commitment of $421,000 from the county. And this will be spread out over 3 different fiscal years. Those amounts are shown on that piece of paper there. And then it gives a more detailed breakdown on that second page. So with the council's approval, I would like to ask that the council president give a signature on there indicating that we would be financially responsible for that out of the Coombe Bridge Fund and or County Local Income Tax Fund. We would figure out the actual appropriation amounts should we actually get awarded the funds.
Questions or discussion on that?
I have a question outside of the grant, the bridge inspection phase 1 line item and the Coombe Bridge. Does any of that money go toward that, or is that totally separate, that project?
Phase 1 bridge inspection,
That's what
That
that
is-
is 26.
that is just for the contract we have with our consultant to perform the inspections that are required by that.
That we planned ahead for. And then phase 2 is we dropped from, there's no money for 26. We only have phase 1 in the budget.
Okay, let me look into that one there.
I think
See how that
one-
works.
Is it the even years, it's phase, and then the next year's out, and the next year's the other phase, and it kind of rotates?
Yeah, it goes,
That's why I remember.
They're 4-year cycles or something like that.
yeah, the contract's 4-year cycles, bridges have to be inspected at least every 2 years. Some of them get yearly though.
Like, Ann keeps track of like which phase we're in.
Okay, I was just curious, but I didn't know how that, if that money is just for the inspections, which it seems like it would be the way it's labeled.
Any other discussion? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion for council president to sign this letter of commitment of the amount that he just described. So
I'll make that motion.
we got a motion. You have a second?
I'll second.
Meredith seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? You want me to sign it?
Yeah, sign that one.
That one's gonna have a bonded paper and
No, it's nothing fancy. I'm done asking, yeah. Till the next time.
Until,
Is this your first appearance before
This,
us?
this is my first one, yeah. Yep,
well, thank you. You did a great job.
thank you.
Yeah.
Levi, will you send me copies?
Yes, I will. Great.
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry, we're running a little behind here, but Sheriff, are you ready?
I am.
You can introduce yourself and
Sheriff Kleinhelter, Du Bois County. I won't take up much of your time, but after reviewing the August budget meeting and the last council meeting and the October commissioner meeting, I'm hoping that you will reconsider your reasonings for not funding the 2 deputy positions that were created by the commissioners. Having those 2 positions created will allow us to adequately investigate crimes against the sex offender registry and also belong to the somewhat newly formed task force from the Indiana State Police called the Internet Crimes Against Children. And if you have any questions about that, the ICAC task force, I brought Detective Sergeant Wade Pierce. He can answer any of those questions about what that is. It's primarily the first time that we're able to be somewhat proactive in crimes against children. I'm just hopeful that after reviewing those meetings that you'll take a reconsideration in the 2 positions that were already created.
Anyone got anything for the sheriff or the ones that, that's something we're not really prepared to do tonight. I didn't know what you were asking. I never got any emails from you or anything that what you were requesting, but we are looking, we're going to discuss it here later this evening on putting together a possibly hiring a company to review the job classifications, that kind of thing, and the wages.
Mhm.
So we were wanting to look at that, I think, before we do anything. But, I guess what I was wanting you to do in the interim, and maybe before next meeting, but I'd like to see a better organizational chart of how these, I guess, the positions, the duties of each position. And this is going to help us with this study also. The qualifications to move up. It seems like, we set the budget and then all of a sudden this deputy is all of a sudden, he moves up to a, detective or, I don't know, it just seems like there's I just like a better organizational chart that we can follow when we do our budget. I think that would make more sense to me. And then the qualifications, that how does someone move up in qualifications? I mean, what makes them come in as a road deputy and all of a sudden they've got the next step up already in a matter of, I don't know, it just seems like, and maybe I'm wrong here, and you guys can add in too, but I'd like to know the qualifications to move up. Well, I mean, you've got in the budget, this is what I don't quite understand when we do this budget. It seems like the positions, the people that are in the positions are then somehow, they're not deputies anymore. They're master deputies, or they're certified instructors. They're not deputies anymore, and it seems like that's what we're short here is road deputies.
Well, no, the master deputies are road deputies. That was a designation that myself and Markey created just for how to generalize the pay scale. So the master deputies I should say no more, but they are the ones that are certified for the extra, like we had talked about, like they went to either firearms instructor school or defensive tactics instructor, or EVOC instructor or something like that. They're still road deputies. They're just paid more because the council approved to pay them more for their qualifications. And that's how we classified them for nothing more than the budget.
Are they shifted then, or they just work 8 to 4, or how?
No, all of our deputies work primarily 12-hour shifts.
Okay. Well, that's something I think if we had a better chart, I think we could follow this better. That we can realize if there is a shortage of staff, and that's what I think this
There's
company.
definitely a shortage of staff.
Well, I'm just saying, so you can, I mean, anyway, and then what I don't see you coming in here tonight, how would these 2 deputies be used? I mean,
Just to explain that, like we are not adequately investigating the sex offender violations of the sex offender registry because it primarily takes one. Well, you can jump in and help me on this. It takes one person to really know. There's so many different aspects to the sex offender registry. Some you have to register, and I don't even know them all. There's some you have to register every 30 days, some every 60 days. And having numerous people involved in that it's not feasible. So we're kind of piecing it together to do the best we can, but I know that there's some that are slipping through the cracks. And that's one thing that we talked about that. And then things change. So this ICAC stuff that I was talking about, I didn't even know that existed until just, yeah, please.
Okay, right.
Yeah, and he can explain the ICAC positions.
So, and I'll start with just the sex registry as well. You know, our administrative assistant helps out as much as she can on that, but that's not really in, you know, her duties. It takes an officer to actually file the charges. And it really takes a dedicated officer to that position to file charges, to keep up with, because there's also paperwork that has to be sent out periodically. I believe it's monthly. If it's not monthly, it's periodically. There are definitely papers sent out every month because of the amount of sex registered and violent offender on the registry in our county, as well as, you know, any neighboring county. It's pretty much everywhere, right? So basically, we have to verify, go to these people's houses and physically verify that they are living at the address that they state they're living at. Because, I mean, as you guys would all agree, it's important that we track those predators, right? So that is something that's required by the state. And like the sheriff was trying to explain, we have certain details. One sex offender might have one set of rules, the next one has a different set of rules. Just because they're on the violent or sex and violent offender registry list doesn't mean they all have the same stipulations. So it takes one person to really be able to concentrate on that type of work to say that, oh, I know that, you know, this offender over here has these set of rules. So we're constantly getting calls. So-and-so is moved in here. I know they're on the sex offender list. Can they live here because it's within this many feet of a school or it's next to a daycare? And it just depends. And if you don't know that, you have to dedicate the time to go research that. And it can get very lengthy. And that's setting aside the times where we have violations, where somebody's driving a vehicle that's not registered to them, or somebody's living with children where they're not even supposed to be around a child who's under the age of 16 years of age. We have stipulations that say they can't, you know, live in this address, but they have to register this address. They have to register where they work. And it is a constant chasing your tail, trying to follow people around. And we're doing the best we can, but it's not the best we could, if that makes sense. If we had someone that was actually dedicated to that position, then we could do the community the service and justice that we really need. And then on the ICAC side of things, it's fairly newer in our county. Some JPD officers and detectives from JPD attended some training about a year ago or a year and a half ago, and they have, I believe, 3 detectives dedicated to that work. Now they're also taking on other work, same as we would be. We've got 2 in Huntingburg, we've got 1 in the prosecutor's office, and we now have 1 in Vernon. Up until this point, with the caseload that we've had, it's been difficult to have someone dedicated to the ICAC team. And again, it's Internet Crimes Against Children. It is a national, you know, it's done federally, this program, and it's a task force that would be on. It doesn't, unlike other task force, that some federal task force will take away from, you know, a top officer, somebody who's good at what they do, away from the community. This isn't one of those situations. We'd be investigating the crimes in our community. And I believe right now, just talked to one of the officers that are involved currently, and today we're sitting at about right around 17 or 20 cases that need to be investigated. Again, we have a couple from Jasper, a couple from Huntingburg, we have the prosecutor's office, 1 individual from there, and then we have 1 from Vernon. We would all work together, and we'll be working together, and this individual that's be working for us would be working with them to serve search warrants, to serve arrest warrants, to try to prevent our children from being victimized. Because as Tom indicated earlier, like, it's difficult, specifically in crimes against children and sex abuse cases, to have preventive measures. This is one of those chances that we have where someone starts out looking at child porn and typically will progress into actually being a predator on a, you know, physical victim. And this is one of those situations where it's much easier to prosecute than a child molestation, because we have physical evidence, because we have things on devices and things like that that we can actually take to trial. Whereas a lot of the child molestations, we don't have victims that they're unable to come forward until years later. And then we put them in front of their, you know, perpetrator, in front of 12 people they don't know, and have to explain what happened to them 8 years ago. And most people watch a lot of TV and listen to a lot of podcasts anymore, and they want to know, where's the physical evidence? Where's the DNA evidence? But I don't want to get off on that tangent, but we have a chance to really try to stop something before it gets to that point, and that's what we're hoping to do.
So are the two proposed positions, are they ones that would only be dedicated to like administrative, and this way they wouldn't be road deputies, or they would be able to?
I think the sheriff probably is better.
Right.
I think both of them would probably be, one of them would definitely be assigned to this, the ICAC task force. And I don't necessarily know that it would be the new person, whoever's qualified for that. Because I think that's an important step. The other one I think would be, if we would get the other one, it would be the help with the sex offender registry. And that's a position that we know we talked about, the
I could have one
fill.
thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I could add one thing to that too, like what you guys were talking about earlier about someone becoming a detective. I mean, I worked at the sheriff's office. I've been employed there since 2003, on the road since 2007. And I won't get involved in the incentives. That's a very common thing at most departments. If you've got someone who's willing to be an instructor, because you can train your own people. You don't have to go searching that out, because we have 26 hours a year that we are required by state. You cannot be a police officer if you don't get these hours in every year. And on top of that, some of them are required specifically for defensive tactics, for emergency vehicle operations, for handgun and firearms. And there's others that are required that you have to go to. It's not just general training. And then there are some general training thrown on top of that. So to have instructors in your own department, same with Huntingburg, same with Jasper, same with Vernon, we all have instructors. We all have deputies or officers that have been there and are tenured, have been for a while, so that you've got a veteran officer. I think they say it takes about 5 years typically to get an officer trained to the point where they know the job. But I mean, it's learning every day, right? The reason I brought that up was to say that whether you said one position and, this can be dedicated to this ICAC, the Crimes Against Children, as a detective, because that would be the position, that would take someone away from a road unit away. Because it's not someone that can come on and be there for a year, 2 years. They can go and investigate these types of crimes. We're going to need someone who's got 5+ years on, 3+ years at a minimum. But that takes one of our, solid trained guys off the road to put him in that position. So we'll have to fill that position, if that makes sense.
So we need 3 officers.
No, I'm saying 2 because let's just put it this way. If you guys said you guys can have 2 new officers, all right? If you guys we're budgeting for that, one of our officers who's experienced would then put in for, and it's not an application because it is an appointed position, but we do an interview process even for an appointed position for our experienced guys to come on and say, hey, I'm interested in doing investigations. Crimes Against Children is where I want, they put in for that position. And then we'll have a board come in, we'll interview them, see who's best for that position, who's got the most experience, who's done these types of investigations, or trying to help out or show interest training, and they get in that position. Then we've got to fill that road unit that just left. That's what I was getting at.
And in your studies of looking for officers and requesting officers, what would you think per 1,000 officer? One officer to how many thousand citizens? One officer to 1,000? One officer to?
I know we had the one study done.
I know the one, the FBI did that years ago. And
because these to me are the most facts that help us make my decisions. When I look at this, I read 50,000, between 50,000 and 200,000, it's 1 to 1.6 officers. When I look at Jasper and the county, right there's 45, maybe 50 officers that would cover the whole county based on that. Then we throw in Huntingburg, and then we throw in Ferdinand. So I'm not really seeing the data to show that we're out of line on officers. I don't know what we're doing wrong that other counties and cities are doing it with 1 to 1.6, that we need to increase the number, unless that data is wrong. Like, these would be things I'd love to see of a study.
I'm not disagreeing with you at all.
How heavy
there are certain aspects. You can't always take and consider Jasper and Huntingburg as officers for responding to a call in Holland. That's our responsibility.
But then we would say we're taking them out of the population, and then we're servicing 20,000. So that's almost a deputy per 1,000. So I don't know what we're off when I look at the data. Those are things I'd like to see. Do I think that position would be great? Yeah, but I can't, where are we heavy on? Can we move someone here and make this department work? Because
Well, I think if Mike was talking about having somebody come in and please come in, look at the time that and I know I've given this to you before, the amount of vacation time, PTO time that our officers have, which then allows just one person or two people. We don't ever go down to one person working the road by themselves. That's too dangerous, but we do too, a lot.
well, just know for me, when I'm looking at this data, it's a harder pitch because when I see the city's growing and the county's shrinking, right? People are moving to the city. It's hard to explain when we're asked, why do we need more deputies? Because we have to answer to that as well. So any data to help with these decisions, in my opinion, would be great.
I know that data has all been provided to council members in the past.
What did you say the standard range was?
It was 1 to 1,000, one officer to 1,000.
I thought you gave a range.
And then it said on population between 50,000 and 250, it was 1 to 1.6.
So,
1 to 1.6. I mean, that's a 60% difference. That's a lot of.
But it's also
That's a lot of officers.
50,000 to 250,000. I mean, and then I just have a hard time I just feel if we were to add up all the officers in the county, I think we're heavy. And I'm not comparing just you. I mean, I'm comparing it to Jasper, Huntingburg, all of it together. Because I think that plays a big factor to what we have in our deputies.
Right, I truly, I know we've had this discussion in the past with some of the local police chiefs, and myself had this. If we all combined our police departments, yeah, I believe you're right, 100%. I think we're probably heavy, but we don't have the luxury of doing that. And I don't think Mayor would be very happy if I asked his officers to go to Cusco to investigate something and leave the citizens of Jasper without a police officer. That's the part that we have to take care of. And we can't do that. I mean, I can't begin to tell you how many times we've had 2 officers in Cusco at an accident or something like that, and one of them has to break away to Schnellville for a domestic situation. I mean, that's where we have to take care of ourselves. We can't rely on Jasper to help us, Huntingburg to help us, or anything like that. Now we're different, and I will make sure my guys, if there's a domestic or something happens in the city limits and my guys are able to help them, absolutely.
And we can rely on state police for nothing.
I don't want to say for nothing, but they do not have the responsibility to work those calls like we do. They don't know about those calls. Those calls go to our 911 system. They're dispatched to local police departments. The state, if they hear them on the radio, they can pick and choose sort of that they want to respond or not, but they're not required to have a person on duty 24/7. And even if they do, it's district wide, and I don't know what their ratio is, but and even if this is what's happening today's age, I'm not sure, but in the past, there would be times where they didn't have anyone working in Du Bois County. I don't know if that's the case anymore or not. I think they're starting to increase their numbers too, where they're having people work. But to sit here and say right now, if a call came in that we could count on the state police, no, I can't. But I know that we have to go through them.
And the other thing that I've been asked, just talking, is how is crime rate? I mean, has crime gone up, or is it not so much crime? It's calls, it's accidents, it's what?
I think it's calls. It's calls.
Domestic.
I wouldn't necessarily, I don't know about the crime rate per se, but our call volume has drastically increased in the last several years.
that's actually part of where I was gonna go with that. I think what Ryan suggests, that's a good start in that, like those population-based formulas to try and determine number of deputies. But some of the preliminary research that I did talks more about doing like a workforce analysis, kind of exactly what you guys are saying right now. I'd like to see, you know, in addition to some of what Mike's asking, could we get a better idea on like logs and different types of calls, whether they're, I know it's hard to, a bigger situation as opposed to an administrative task. It's just, I feel like it's hard for me to understand in any day, like how people are appropriated to what, you know, what's going on. But you do a really good job in illustrating that when you talk about somebody being on one side of the county and someone else not being able to respond. I think I just want to see more of it on paper is all it is. If there's a way to
I mean,
come
we
up
can
with
do it.
something like that.
I can get you the
Volume
call
types
outs
of
and
calls,
volumes
however
and-
many X number of, kind of, just to get a better idea. It sounds like though, regardless of the position that you're proposing in terms of the ICAC, whatever it is, that they would probably be more solely dedicated to that. But still, I think it's a good idea just to get an idea overall in the whole grouping, of all of our deputies and those that serve the department, just to find out day to day, because it is, absolutely very difficult for us. We don't walk in your shoes every day. We don't know what it's like unless we know information like that, so.
That's kind of what we're relying on this study for. And I don't know if there's companies that do that for sheriff's departments, but,
Right.
I'm going to rely on this company to really help us with our wages.
It's exactly what I was gonna say, to piggyback off what Ryan said too. I know, like they said, they're going through this particular study, but I have to wonder, if there's not a groups that serve, sheriff association or otherwise, someone that could help, do a deeper dive. I'm sure that they probably experience some of the same things, but I definitely agree. We need to make sure that we're, keeping up with service, demands, community expectations, because I do believe Du Bois County does have a certain expectation in serving folks, and I do take that very seriously. I just want to be able to have numbers to back it up a little bit more, and also know that, in my almost 3 years, I guess, here too, I know that this has been, a topic that we've bounced back and forth, so I can appreciate that this probably feels difficult for you all in your position and asking for that. So if you all wouldn't mind providing more, I would love to see that, so appreciate it.
I echo what's already been said, and I'd just like to add, I think children, we definitely need to protect them. That's no question in my mind right there. When you were speaking about the sex offender registry, a lot of what you described, there is a lot of administrative work that goes into that background to, get to that next step and start physically tracking. And I know officers need to do that, but I'm not finding a whole officer position doing just that. Does that make sense to you?
I think that's fair. I don't think we have enough. I don't know. I've spoken to Kenya about that before, and I don't know if we have enough for one person to do that or not, but we have.
And that's a good thing. That's a good
Right.
thing.
That's a
Have
good
to
thing.
investigate all those, for sure.
But we have lots of work.
Yeah, if we would add another officer, I wouldn't want to see that officer just solely behind the desk doing something that somebody else could be doing.
Yeah, there's
That would be.
Yeah,
Right.
I say that position is definitely not behind the desk position. There's a lot of research, but it's more, you could call it research, it's an investigation, but the registry portion itself, when they're coming in to report, that's something that Kenya's taking care of right now. The problem comes in the investigations, and it's about once a week probably where you're getting at least, hey, this person is not, I don't believe that they're actually living at this address, whether it's a tip or whether that's something she's seen herself or another officer has seen from so many papers. So, maybe that doesn't take up solely, but if you can have one road unit who is also dedicated to that, because we have found that trying to get a road unit to actually take care of that portion of the registry, the investigation that goes into, determining whether or not someone lives at this address or works at this place or has registered these vehicles. That takes away from what they're, calls they're able to respond to when a call does come in to that, well, I'm busy doing sex registry work. So that's where it kind of gets, I don't think we're asking for one person just dedicated solely to that,
Okay.
as a road unit, so.
So to follow up to that, on the newest one on the council, right, I've been in the seat for a little over a year now. Are these two deputies, are they the same ones that the commissioners approved contingent upon a grant or not?
That was what was originally stated. I know I sent you an email, and I don't have that in front of me, but I went back to the commissioners to get more clarification if it was just on grant approval and or if they approved them irregardless. And I think it was irregardless. I don't think that's what Commissioner Blessinger said.
Okay, and then the following question after that, are there any more grants out there that can help us through this?
Not that I'm aware of, but we got turned down for the COPS grant 2 times in a row. So, and then
Will you
we,
go for another?
But honestly, it's a lot of work, and
Right,
we got denied 2 times in a row, so
yeah,
it is costly to apply.
right, yeah, we, as the council, were trying to forward another project, and we were turned down several times, I think, by state agencies too. And then we finally managed to get a little bit of benefit from it on that 3rd try. That's why I'm asking if there's anything out there, still to apply.
I really don't even know if it's open or not, but I can investigate that.
Okay, if you could do that, I'd appreciate that. Otherwise, yes, I think children are very important. We need to protect them, no question.
Can you refresh my memory, or I'm not sure if you know why we were turned down for those grants?
We were never given them.
Or given reason?
No, they just give you they actually don't even give you a letter. You have to go online and search, and then it just shows the counties that were approved.
I remember the first time Jesus kind of did it on its own.
Yeah, we called him the first
And then you guys learned that there were other nuances or the things going on where it was beneficial to get someone in to help out with that. And they did seem to do a much better job the second time around, so maybe that was it, just knowing how things work and what to do, the proper way to file stuff. But kind of going back a little bit, you're saying that there's a deputy that already kind of does some of the filing for the sex registry and all that stuff?
Kenya
does all of it?
Yes.
We had tried
So
that
she
at
does
one
all
point.
of the paperwork that would require someone who's not a deputy to file everything, get everything, like the research and all that stuff. I'm just kind of thinking, would it help if we added another administrative assistant or someone that's just dedicated in the office to
We
do all
attempted that.
paperwork
I
and
know
all
that. I
that,
think
or
that
is
was,
all of that being done right now, separate from the deputies going to the different homes to check out what's going on and make sure everyone's in compliance as far as that goes, and then bringing that information back to be filed in.
I don't think, I personally wouldn't feel comfortable sending non-law enforcement.
No, I'm not sending non-law enforcement, I'm separate those duties from the ones the deputies just doing the part where they have to go out to the homes and having the assistant just work on anything that's in-house as far as that goes, paperwork, filings, research, like you were talking about. Just make that separation. Is it something where adding an assistant or someone in-house, not necessarily a deputy, could do?
I think the biggest pinch comes in when we go to do the actual criminal investigation and the filing. Kenya handles a lot of,
She does.
Kenya handles most everything on the reporting when they come into report.
That's what I was just wondering, does she do everything except the stuff that, or
The home
everything
checks,
where-
the criminal investigation, the portion where it would be where a sworn officer has to actually file those charges and do the investigation, like comes to go out to the house to do the home checks and that type of thing.
I didn't know a non-officer could do the research and
she is.
stuff in-house, and that's already being done.
And that's being
So
done.
you're still in a pinch for
Well, I think
getting everything else done
yeah,
with the officers that you have currently. And then another thing, kind of going back even further, talking about certifications, like for the firearms and all that stuff, is there a minimum or a number of, like master sergeant, well, not master sergeant, we made that designation, but is there a number of instructors, certified instructors that we would have to have for all of our people to be in compliance, or do we just need one person that is certified in those different areas?
Okay.
Because
So I
the
mean,
way it sounds, we have multiple officers
typically we do.
certified in different areas.
Yeah.
Is that something that is a requirement?
So when you go through the instructor course, so I'll just answer because I was an instructor for a long time. I did defensive tactics and taser instruction, and basically, you have to go through the instructor development course prior. Once you pass everything going through instructor development, then you're able to basically either generalize, or you have to be in defensive tactics, you have to do certain trainings on top of that, specified training. Same with emergency vehicle operations, same with firearms and taser, et cetera, et cetera. So I can tell you that specifically for us, because, and everybody in the county typically has more than one defensive tactics instructor. So I think right now we have 2 for sure, maybe 3. We've got Case, Eric Hopkins, and then we've got Toby Ozer. And Toby takes care of a lot of the jail. They have certain requirements they have to go through, but also can help out with the deputies. But working 12-hour shifts too, it's difficult to get everybody through these required trainings and stuff. Huntingburg, I know, has 1, maybe 2 defensive tactics instructors, and it kind of goes down the line with firearms. It's super beneficial to have your own instructors in-house, because there's always times of the year where somebody can't make it to this training, so they try to get it.
I didn't know if we have so many that certification, we're heavy on that we don't necessarily need that many. We have more of an abundance of instructors than need to get everybody certified throughout the year.
We definitely don't have enough. And you gotta find people, one, who are willing to do it.
Right.
You know, when I had a background where I was interested in defensive tactics, taser. So you have to have someone that's
Right.
interested in doing it, because there's even the instructors obviously have to go for updates and everything. So they have a bi-yearly training that they have to go through to maintain that certification. They also have to maintain so many hours every 3 years to maintain that certification. And that's across the board in EVO, in defensive tactics, and also in firearms. And if you let that lapse and you don't get enough training hours in, then they'll take the certification away from you. But to try to search out an instructor to get certified in these things is just a major, major pain, especially when you guys work a night shift, 12-hour shifts. You got guys in the jail that need the training, and ladies too, but it's the training throughout. It's hard. It's hard
We
to
have
say.
a proportional amount of trainers for the size of our, the office, the size of the number.
I would say we're probably even lacking, but we belong to the Southwest Training Council. So I don't know, there's probably, I think 70, 80 different departments in Southwest Indiana that are members of this. So like if they hold a training, which they did hold a training today, and we sent, I think 2 of our guys out to that, but I don't know who actually put it on. So they just went through the course, but it's put on by these departments, and they send certified trainers to come out and do
Is that
that.
an extra charge then?
Not as long as we are members of this Southwest training.
Do we have to have a certain number of instructors in certain areas to be part of this?
No.
You're talking about the training group that's talking about Southwest Indiana. So part of the benefit of having that many departments in is they do encourage your department to have instructors, because we put on training for Southwest. Huntingburg's put on training for Southwest. You know, that's part of what the members do, and why that as a committee it's beneficial to law enforcement.
I was just thinking, is there a way we can possibly organize, like Mike was talking about, having an organizational chart to have so many per area of certification or expertise, and have that listed and limited to a certain amount, so that we can kind of track and see
Yeah, I can,
what the certifications are, and keep that as a certain amount that's proportional to what our department,
I will get you a name of who the
kind of a
deputy
better idea of, okay, we need to have so many of these type of instructors to totally get all of our training for our officers up to their certifications and everything. And it's nice to hear that we have that at Southwest. That we can also utilize to go to there.
You didn't have any specific crime statistics, but my unscientific observation is child exploitation is on the rise. I mean, we see that every week, locally, Holland the other week. So, and we're going into the semantics of job descriptions. I see deputies and master deputies, and you have a certified instructor, field training officer, detective, SROs, like a $2,000 pay difference roughly. So I'm not too hung up on that, but I think if we would vote for one or maybe two officers and we could reduce one case of child exploitation, I would feel great doing that. So.
Well, that is exactly what that task force is designed for, so.
Anyone else? I mean, the only thing I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna correct you on, the email from the, one of the commissioners there, president of the commissioners, and it says here on, during the July 3rd, 2023 meeting, it seems to me the board discussion was to create 2 positions, assuming we would get the COPS grant. And it says the language of the motion was less clear, stating we would create 2 positions, hoping they would be partially funded by the COPS grant. So they were not created, so we'd have to.
I think they were when I went back, and I know I sent that exact time frame when I went to the commissioner. I don't have the email in front of me, but it was shortly after that, or when I went and I asked them directly in the meeting, and I know I emailed that to you what day it was and the time frame that they did create them.
So we'd have to, I want to verify that also, but.
Or, I mean, could we just go back and just clean that up and just ask them in a meeting if we're good to go, if they're supporting these positions, if let's take the may out of it and we do support it? I mean, can they revisit this and clean it up? Because that
If that's what it was.
was 2 years ago. I mean, let's revisit it and just have them clean it up. I think that would help. That would help me, knowing that they've spent that time on it.
Tom, we used a consulting firm the second time, right? The first time we didn't use a consulting firm. Somebody helped us.
For the COPS grant, you mean?
The COPS grant.
For the COPS grant, correct.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
So we should have been on the up and up the second time.
So, and then one other question, the social worker deputy, how is that person being utilized?
Just, I mean, she is following her grant. And she is working right now, I think, well, she's working noon to midnight. But she's doing, it's working out great. I know she had her CIT meeting today, and I know they got CIT training coming up. They're gonna put on a big training in February. So she's working on that right now.
So, again, I think I brought it up during the budget. What I'd like to do when you put this organizational chart of the request for the positions you're asking for, I'd like to know the pay, with a fiscal body. It's different to hire a road deputy versus a person like this. Somebody's moving up and then somebody's creating new positions. So we're not really adding any road deputies. Technically, we're just adding these 2 positions you're asking for, which are higher paid, I guess, what I'm saying. They're higher paid.
Okay.
I mean, like you said, 2,000, whatever they are. So I'd like to get that, what you're gonna budget for that. You understand? You seem like you're confused. I don't know.
Well, I think it's, when you hire a new deputy, they're probationary, so it's cheaper. Because you're taking a deputy now and then you're moving them. And some of them may already be to that pay grade because they are instructors.
That's what
I don't know.
That's what I'm asking you to look into when you furnish this organizational chart and the things that we ask here tonight, the qualifications and all that. So we know how much to budget. And then will this require another vehicle for each person? All the gear, because I think I figured during the budget here, I think it's $80,000 to furnish a new officer, just to get him the initial cost. So I'd like to have you include all that so we can make a decision financially, if we can afford to do it. So I don't have anything else. So anyone else speak up now? Otherwise, I want to go into and I'm sorry for running a little late here, but I want to go into the commissary report ledger tonight. that we've got 3 months here to cover. I think I've looked at some questions that I'd like for you to look into. I can, if you can answer them tonight, if not, I can, we can sit.
I'm not prepared to answer any of them, but I can try.
Okay, so does anyone have anything in July that they got a question on?
I sent all mine by email, not thinking I would be able to have it tonight, but I can ask the ones I had. Not for July though.
Well, okay, I don't have anything for
I didn't for
July.
July.
Because, the way the state legislature changed it, it's every 3 months. And
Sure.
and I
Yeah,
thought
and I-
I could just come in and answer the questions if we got any, or you could get the answers for us and get them back to us.
Mhm.
But I just because I think if the State Board of Accounts has to approve this, if they don't want to look at it, then we're going to have to hire an independent auditor to look at these commissary reports. That's what the state
Okay.
enrollment act says. So I don't have anything. Anybody got anything for July?
Not July.
Okay, so August, my first thing is the Zips Car Wash. Can you explain the procedure? I mean, do you get like a monthly pass, then so many vehicles on it, or how's that work?
No, I think there's 23, we got 23 cars, I believe, that are signed up for it.
And they check the license number then?
It's on license plate readers, yes.
Okay, and then on August 18th, there was a credit card used, American Airlines 2-day border school.
Yes,
I think, who attended that?
I did.
Okay, so I think in the future, again, on this commissary ledger, I think we need to put who attended that training.
Okay.
That's part of it, I think. And then there was another one here, John Deere Financial, and then it says bleach.
That's Rural King.
Okay, so there again, that you got designated as a C9 designation, and a C9 under the legislature says the auditor, or it's for an audit or review of the fund by an independent certified public account. That line item is used, a C9 is.
Yeah, I'd have to speak with Joanne about that.
Okay, so that's something I think we need to look into. And then National Internal Affairs Invest.
Investigation school,
So
that was Jesus, that
Okay.
went to that.
Okay. And then the Omni, I guess that was the same thing, Omni Hotel,
Correct,
$983.
the same time frame.
Okay.
I believe that would be his.
Looks like this, it's roughly speaking, yeah, it's a few days later. So, that's all I had on that, on all this.
I just had to clean it up, like when it says Walmart Capital One, but then there's a check number. Do you think that was credit card check
Yeah.
number, just something to look at? Because Capital One was throwing me off. Is that our credit card, I'm assuming?
It is,
It may just,
it's our Walmart card.
and then, so if you want to pay for a check, it's a credit card charge. It would be
Say what that?
it's a credit card charge, right?
And you're just paying the credit card bill.
Yeah.
Because it
yeah.
says it's $51, Capital One Walmart office supplies, but then it has a check number
That's probably the check that she wrote out of the commissary to pay it.
to pay it for just that fund, just to
Yeah.
match it.
Yeah.
And the John Financial, that's a credit card as well.
That's
The credit
no,
line,
No,
just
It's a credit line.
yeah.
Okay.
For Rural King. I guess that one just threw me when you said that.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if there's on the ledger, there's a check number, a date, a description, debits, credits, balance. So, but I guess what I'm missing then, unless somebody can explain it to me, is who was it written to? So in that case, that's a description column. I'm getting confused on what's the description and who actually it was paid to.
For John Deere Financial,
Yeah,
it's
so
paid to Rural King.
it was paid to, okay, because on the description, it didn't say it was paid to Rural King. We didn't have that reference. I mean, I can
Well,
say,
it's paid to John Deere Financial, which
John-
is,
John Deere Financial
Is
is what
Rural
Rural
King.
King
Credit
is under.
arm, yeah.
that's their thing. Okay, I learned something new.
Okay.
Thank you.
Other departments do the same.
Anyone else in August? Any other? And then September, again, Jesus Morales was paid, I guess, check for $182.49. So it says training.
I don't have that on the top of my head.
Okay. So again, I just wondered what kind of training, or I think we need to be more
Well,
specific.
I've told you guys all this numerous times. Come up and look at the receipts. I mean, you can only put so much on these little lines, but you're more than welcome to come up and look
But
at
the
those
State Board
receipts.
of Accounts, they look at this. So
No, they come up
I mean,
with their receipts.
for us to see it,
Yeah.
it
So-
doesn't make us,
All you have to do is just come up.
okay, and then that's the only one I had, the Zips Car Wash, I understand now. There's more than $437 for car washes.
That's all I had. All the other trainings have officers assigned next to, or deputies assigned next to it, so we know which one goes with which.
So I think, again, do we want to know more about Jesus Morales or whatever on that $182? We want a receipt on that?
What is it again?
I can email you and you send it. I want it in writing.
What is it again?
It's on,
It looks like a
September
check
2nd.
Check.
paid out to Jesus, it's part of training.
Oh, it's priced per unit or whatever it
$182.49.
was. Is it, okay. Yeah.
Eating,
I don't
something
know,
like
but
that.
that's what I would
Food
guess
allowance,
it is,
probably.
yeah.
so that's all I had. I think we have to review these every quarter. That's the new, so you have anything else for the council?
I do not.
Does anyone else on the council have something? Appreciate you both
All right.
coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Okay. We were way behind here, but the airport, we were gonna have the airport report to us tonight, or, they were on the agenda, and I don't know why. Ryan, did you talk to them or in the interim?
I did, and they sent me an email letting me know that they're still in negotiating. I think I've sent and given you guys all some papers and some facts about what's going on at the airport. I put one on all of your desks, just an update from one of the hangars to read, so you may be getting some calls about it. And I had just asked the airport authority to come give us an update. They're in the middle of negotiations and, want to continue to work out. I know they have a date set up to continue to negotiate. I've talked with Doug, I've talked with Travis. I'm trying to keep this deal alive and finding some common ground. So you guys can read this over, and I would expect to get some stuff from the airport too, but I do think it's worth looking at from everyone to try to stay on top of it and ask questions to try to keep our tenants there. So other than that, I don't want to speak for anyone else, but I can try to keep you up to date. I know they're trying to schedule a meeting for next week. So.
Well, thanks.
Sounds good.
I'd spoken with Travis also, so I think we just, our goal is to maintain what we got here. I think that's important for economic development of that county. So Mayor, were you here did you have any
I was
specific?
interested in that discussion point, so thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we probably should have, we just found out here this afternoon.
It was an interesting discussion. I really did.
Otherwise,
There's
we're
always
gonna get into probably another lengthy, I don't know. Or do we want to do, is the ambulance, I don't want to jump in.
That's correct. Ryan is here, so.
That's from today.
Something good
For my conversation.
Well, I mean, I don't want him to sit here if that's all, if he's just got a request, or, but otherwise, because this could take a little time. Thank you for coming.
Oh, crazy, you can part of your
Hot off the press.
Alright.
Oh, this is a little more difficult than I thought.
How many pages is this?
So this is each truck maintenance, and then.
It's a very nice.
It's very nice, yeah.
Is the county ledger up to date, year to date. So here today for ask for additional appropriations for the repair budget for the ambulances. Last month, on the front page there, you can see in pink, there was a $2,000 and a $4,000. That was kind of excess we had in some other funds in the same category. So we did move that amount into the repair budget to try to help offset some of the cost. So initially the budget was for $6,000 and we added that, or $60,000, and then we added that $6,000 in. Kind of long story short, the one truck we had to replace a transmission on, which is about $7,000. And so that's kind of where we're lacking. Didn't really expect that. Each truck has to be serviced again before the end of the year. As you can see on those ledgers, it's roughly about $500 per truck to be serviced, so that's gonna be about $3,500. Currently, we've got about $1,000 left in the account. The last 2 months, we've spent about $8,000 total per month on repairs. This doesn't actually goes a little bit further than just the ambulances, so any type of capital equipment the county has, for instance, our defibrillators, our cardiac monitors, we've had to replace a few things on, new batteries, those type things. Unfortunately, those batteries aren't cheap. They're $500 to $1,000 a battery, so it kind of adds up pretty quick. So those were a couple of expenses that we weren't expecting. So here to ask, we can do, we can try to defer some of the December costs into January, but that's only going to kind of defer into the new year. So my ask is for $10,000. I'm open to, if you think we need to do less than that for now, and then see how it goes and come back in December if I need to. I'm fine with that, whatever you think is best.
I mean, I feel like if it's like, if you feel that's something you need, I think we should, my opinion would be $10,000.
Service. Can I ask you a question, just as learning and subsidies and as we're coming through more, because we get some of these questions about the ambulance and I don't know.
Sure.
If our ambulance is used out of this county, and let's just say as an example, when it was at Orange County, at a golf outing, does that ambulance collect money for being up there? And then that money goes
back to us and then goes against the subsidy.
So it's going, so things you're doing like that are to help us, so we're not,
correct,
as I understand it, I want to make sure I understand it right.
Correct.
When our ambulances are doing other runs, we are getting reimbursed for it.
Correct.
To go against.
Yes. Anytime we go like into another county and bring a patient back, or if we transport a patient from, say, Deaconess Midtown to U of L in Louisville, all those runs get billed under Du Bois County EMS. And so Du Bois County EMS collects the revenue for that. Speaking of EMS, Du Bois County, but we collect the revenue for that, and all that revenue goes to offset the subsidy cost.
Because I don't know if we would even be able to see, but sometime as our expenses for this is all going up, as things are changing, it may be interesting just to see that.
I can get you a spreadsheet of the amount of runs that we've done like that from the Deaconess Network.
Just so we know what's helping us.
And the revenue that we've gained is about $80,000. So now compare that to, that's the revenue, compare that doesn't account for the fuel cost. The crew cost you're gonna pay regardless because it's a 24/7. Whether they're making a run or whether
So
they're
it's pretty
sitting at the
minimal.
station, you're gonna be paying them regardless. So, it's beneficial for you to keep your crews busy to some degree, but you don't wanna overdo that when you look at EMS fatigue, and you don't want somebody out on the road that's been up for 16 to 20 hours. So they need to be able to get their rest in time, but you also don't want a crew to sit there for 24 hours and not do a run at all.
Yeah.
Because you're paying them to sit there and eat. So those are the kind of things that, for your question with the golf outing, yes, we do get reimbursement per hour of our time up there. So
I was just curious. That's how I thought. I just wanted to make sure.
now, some of the things, if, local events, like for instance, football games and those type things, we will send an ambulance out, but if they get called out on a run in Huntingburg or in Jasper, wherever they're at, then they go. So those, we're not charging the schools for that because we're not dedicating an ambulance. Now, if we dedicate an ambulance to that, then there's a charge for that. And whatever event that is, for instance, the 4-H events, there's certain things that they have to have ambulance for that we can't leave for. In those regards, they pay us for our time out there, pay for the crew, pay for the fuel, those type of things.
Is all that factored into the hourly charge that you just mentioned? Okay,
Yes.
I didn't know if that was a standard.
Yeah, we have standard rates that we use. Yeah.
Who determines those?
Honestly, the hospital determined them years ago, and so that's what we've used. I don't know when the last time those got upgraded, so it may be the fact that we need to
That was my
charge a
next
little
question.
more, but it is expensive, and you know, I think it's feast or famine. You can get to a point where people say, you know, I'm not gonna use it for that, or I'm not gonna pay for that, so they just don't have it.
Okay, thank you.
Questions?
Sorry, I took us off topic, but I would personally be in favor of fixing them and having the money there because it's gonna come eventually.
We have not advertised this, so.
I'd just be a show of hands, but just Alex, you stepped out, so those two big things. I mean, if we don't pay for it, it's gonna go into next year, so I mean, I think they're gonna, you know, if it needs repair, we're gonna need to fix it.
Yeah, and it may not be, you know, at the end of the day, it may not be that much, but you know, it's a guessing game. Like I said, we know it's gonna be at least $3,500 because each ambulance needs to be serviced at least once before the end of the year. That's about $500 or 7 ambulances, so that's $3,500 at least.
So, any other discussion on it? So let's have a show of hands, advertise $10,000 for ambulance repair. So, is that it?
That's it.
Okay, well, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, Treasurer.
See, that was painful.
You know, I'm sorry, you,
This is best for last.
Can you put me next time before the sheriff if you ever on again?
Respectfully, so.
you're paid the same, no matter.
That's true, that's true. Craig Growlick, West County Treasurer, so glad to be here. So I wanted to give you guys some information. So this is a follow-up to the meeting when I was with you guys, I think it was in the end of April, I feel like it was.
Yeah.
And we talked about software, and that's what this is. So so this is a proposal that was given to us from Lao. If you guys remember back in April when I gave you that information, I still have some, I only made one copy of that. But also I believe Brooke, I believe it was about 10 days ago, sent you guys an email kind of going over the importance of.
It was from Brooke, Stacy, and Brenda in my office.
Okay, yeah, a number of them. So they all contributed to putting that together. And so Sandy and I, well, Sandy will jump in here anytime as well. So there's a lot of great information that that Brooke put in there. And at this point, after talking with Sandy did, she had her presentation 10 days ago roughly or something. And my presentation is going to be November 19th in our office. So that'll be after tax season for us. So things will be a little slower, but we still got to get year-end information and everything completed.
Well, we took a deeper dive. My office went to Davies County, they're on this system. Then we went to Pike County and got to see several departments actually using the system. And my girls got really excited about all the things that we could do and how our system doesn't do right now.
Is this going to eliminate positions if we have this
No.
software?
Well, she was quick to say that.
You know, health department, I don't know the way I read it.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're dated. I just didn't know. And then what was the annual of it? Did I miss that? The annual, how much this cost annually?
It's on the last page.
Annual maintenance, 53,000.
After the first year,
Yeah, so let me be more clear. If you go to that last page, I believe it's page 5. So it says the software itself is $161,000. And to be honest, that's not payable until 2026. I think right now we're probably looking at April or May before this even goes into effect, okay? There's some things behind the scenes that they have to do, and that's really what's on the next line there. It says $58,125, and 220, so that total is 58,345. That would be required in 2025 for us to pay LAO, 58,345. And then the annual maintenance fee is 53,000. So what we would do is that'd be prorated. So if we don't start this till May, June even, they'll prorate that and then start in 27.
Hope you're
That would
earning
be
us some
cool.
interest.
I'm sorry?
Hope you're earning us some interest over there.
We are. We're doing some great things. Absolutely.
Now,
So-
we will have to run parallel with 2 systems for a year.
You do have to do a full year.
Well, up until the time they cut us over and go live.
Yes.
Oh, okay, so, okay.
Because
And then we're
they
gonna be
want us to
changing.
go parallel
auditors.
while they'll set it
Yeah,
up and
you're
they'll
confused.
convert, but then they want us to run parallel for a little bit, and then they'll catch us up and get all our data in the new
So
system.
the whole process.
So we will have to pay
would take a year.
the software on the support for the old programs we both have. He has one system, I have a different system.
Is anybody still using the current systems that we're using today?
Yes,
People are still using?
yes.
Not near as many counties are not using Harris. They're down to 13 counties. That was at the first of the year. It could be a different number. I'll say that. It could be higher, it could be lower. It's likely a different number.
And it's good to hear that your staff is excited about it because change is not great. If they're excited about it, will help.
And I know that we feel there's gonna be always some challenges initially when you change things. It's gonna be a new normal, so to speak. And we'll, it starts in Sandy's office and then
What
It
we're
goes over to ours.
hoping is we get converted, we learn the system, and then maybe a year later, we start doing electronic e-filing in the, like people don't do paper anymore, but paperless claims, start paying more things out ACH versus checks. That's what the goal is,
Mhm.
but it won't happen on day one. Because we have to learn how to do it first before we can teach you how to do it.
So when,
Will this, I'm
go
sorry,
ahead, go ahead.
will this lovely budget book go away?
Not quite sure, because they tell us that this new system can do, like, we can bring a screen in here and go live and show you the data, and we can change it live, or we can give you guys an access to certain reports.
Yes. That would be
We
so
haven't
very cool.
learned all that yet, we've only shown it a little bit, but that's what we're hoping.
I mean, understanding how early we start on budgets, sitting down with you and talking about, like I said, multiple things, including your software, that was a month or so ago now. I was shocked, just for the rest of the council, what I used back in the 90s in municipal financial software, and it included utilities too. The software we have today can't touch it. I mean, what I had was so much further advanced, and it was electronic payroll. All of this, the budget, everything was done electronically instead of having to go back and do it all manually in all these spreadsheets. So I understood why you start the process so early now. I didn't have that understanding before.
That budget book takes a lot of time and energy,
And if there's
and an immense
changes,
amount of time and energy.
right? Yeah, I'd like to eliminate that piece for the county entirely. That would be my goal for having that software. That was difficult for me to maneuver. And just having the flexibility of being able to run reports that historically you can go back and choose dates and have reports run and then do your comparisons, everything that they're doing manually now, and having to sit down, I don't even know how many days, weeks, whatever it takes you to do this. But makes sense to me. The payroll, I can't. I went down her email list and everything was check mark, been there, done that, check mark. And it got me excited on bringing the software and the processes up to date here in Du Bois County. I think my only question is, will the programs, do we have the hardware that
Yes.
the programs need?
I've already had that conversation.
Okay, that's good news.
Well, we just upgraded them all.
I know, but everything changes so quickly, and that's a
Our
robust
virtual
program.
servers can hang, I've already put Riley in contact, I've already got that going behind the scenes to make sure.
Awesome.
Is this the same company that it was kind of brought up, discussed a few years ago
Oh, years ago?
Yeah, I think it was right before you got in.
Okay.
Well, they have two different branches. One is the tax billing side, which they were started in. Now this is the financial side. So we're not touching the tax billing side. We're doing the financial side.
Okay.
Yeah, so that could have been, but this is where we're at with this. I think we're pretty excited, 'cause I think getting back to that budget book, I think it's gonna be different. And I think from my understanding, maybe, let's say you guys have a computer, and you can actually see somebody, if a department comes up, you can see what I've spent, and you can see all my numbers. It'll be live numbers instead of me. Now granted, we receive something monthly paper, but you can see it live, at every meeting, and you can look at anything you need to look at. I don't think you can adjust it. It's more of a read for you. It's a read for you, which is good.
You can't modify it. All you can have is view.
Yeah, so there's I think it's a big advancement gonna eventually come to us into you guys.
I know it's costly, but I think we wouldn't be bringing it to you if we didn't think it was.
So you're meeting with the Lyle company in November. Is that something you think a couple of council members would get anything out of or review, or you think we'd just be in your way?
Good question, Mike. I think anybody's always welcome to come in.
I don't know, I just know from our demonstration in our office, I don't think you guys would have went, well, Dina might, because she worked with financial book, you might have went, I don't know what you're doing. I don't know how you do that, but I get it. I mean.
So basically what the three ladies at the auditor's office put together is the synopsis of what this.
From our side.
That's from their side.
So do you want to do the same? You want to get the three heads together over there and
if you would like for me to do that, absolutely.
Well, I mean, this would be after the presentation, I suppose.
Correct.
But, how it's going to help the county. And again, that's all you see on AI,
right.
Is people are going to lose their positions. I'm not saying that's
right
in your office or whatever, but I'm just saying,
well,
that's what efficiency, in government, that's what it should lead to.
Right.
Well, the thing you have to, and last week at the conference, internal controls. One person can't do everything. You gotta have second set of eyes. You have to have the checks and balances. If you don't, you get in trouble. So,
I mean, that's good.
you still gotta have the people doing the jobs and the backups and the.
Right. And we have three people in my office. So I feel like we're at I think Alex had asked it last time I was here that, but we're at I feel like the minimum we could use. I mean, if we even went to 2 people full-time and a part-timer, I don't think that helps us either. That's
and I'm not talking about position. I'm just saying in the big picture. Could it, probably not in your office, maybe, I don't know.
I think we have the most financial responsibilities with the least of budgets.
Yes.
We really do.
Right.
Okay. Well, let's open it up for other discussions. Anyone else? I mean, it's a lot of money.
Everything's a lot of money, but.
Well, I know we wouldn't pay for all of it, but I think in order for us to sign the contract by the end of the year, we have to budget all of it and encumber to pay as we go next year.
Correct. There is if you look at the last page there, it
So
does
it's
say.
saying it's budget to 204,345.
If that's the.
Correct, yes. Yes. But we would only, in 2025, would need
only pay 58,000.
345, correct.
Well, would any of that annual maintenance prorated part, would that be included in that or be additional?
It's hard to know.
No, so, because the technical services, that's all behind the scenes of what they're doing. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna take all of our software that we have and all of our vendors, and they're gonna enter all that information, create all the files. That's what they're gonna do.
They're gonna
behind the
convert
scenes.
all of our chart of accounts, all of our vendors, all of our.
All of our funds,
So
everything.
there wouldn't be any part of that maintenance, software maintenance additional above the 58,000.
Okay, well, the software maintenance is the 53, so.
Yeah, 53 is separate from the 58 one.
Correct, yeah, so that's the annual, but that won't start
After everything.
till after everything's
After
going, yes, and that'll be prorated.
Service stuff. So it
Yes,
should be part of 26, that
it will be.
likely will be part of.
Yes, the 58, the 53
Part of the 53.
will be 26 along with the 161. So the 161 will be payable in full, the 53 will be prorated, which means if we don't start till May, then we only pay for the remaining 7 months.
So what are you wanting to maybe break it out or break it
No,
down?
I was just curious on how it would be paid out as far as those, budgeting for the whole amount. If that's possible, that might be
It's
the
still,
way to go, so we have enough there. So that goes.
so it would still not be spent, it would still be earning
won't be
the county
It won't be
interest
spent
Until
until it's needed, correct.
I don't.
What's our current annual fees? I mean, we're paying something now.
Yes,
$5,000.
you ready?
Oh, $5,000?
It's, so,
Mine's cheaper than his, believe it or
Yeah.
not.
so mine is $6,800 yearly for my portion, the treasurer portion.
And then I'm sure we've talked about this last, but this company we're with, there's no upgrades, there's no bringing us up to date with this company. We're done. We have to be done.
Correct. And Sandy,
He's on Harris Financials. I'm on United Systems and Software.
and hers is $4,960. So I think that's rounding up to $12,000, I believe, if that's.
I mean, I like the idea of being in sync. Just know it's a lot of money.
It is, but you get so much more.
Yeah, there's
You're gonna
no
get a
benefit
lot
to
more out of it.
I mean, you can call up a vendor just to see how much you paid a vendor. I mean, it's literally keystrokes. The same way, if you've got multiple vendors that are working on a project, as long as you assign a project ID number, everything can roll under that have been paid, and you'll know project costs too. I mean, it's just a great management tool.
It also has an HR component.
What do you say? Besides theirs?
Mine's United Software and Systems. My United Systems and Software. USS.
Is there a separate maintenance fee for that software?
Mine's
Yes,
cheaper
hers,
than his.
yeah, hers is $4,960 yearly.
Oh, I
Now, we
thought,
do buy our check stock and stuff from them.
okay.
Yeah, and one of the things too that I checked with Stacy, so right now, roughly for this year, we've written out about 4,200 checks. So, and I feel like, I think in 27, when we kind of maybe get this thing rolling, we'll write less checks. So 4,200, and
We'll start
take it for
that.
granted that 98% went by mail. I don't know, well, I don't even know what stamp it, and 70 cents.
74.
Count the envelopes. I feel like that's a hidden benefit to us as well. that
We'll start
we can
doing more
start-
ACH payments and less checks.
So even if we agree to advertise it for budget, it would still have to get approved by the commissioners, right?
They've already given us their blessing.
They have.
Yeah,
So it looks to me like we would try to advertise for $257,500 in round numbers.
right.
Come on,
Yes.
that makes sense.
Is that correct, Sandy, for 26? Is that how?
Well, we'll do it for the end of this year. So we can sign the contract.
Okay.
Yep, that's about what I have, so.
Can you repeat that?
Further discussion? Pardon me? I get 257,500 is what I thought we advertised for. Are we ready? Have a show of hands, who's in favor of the 257,500?
Bring us up to date.
Great,
It'll be a very long year next year, I'm telling
Yeah,
you.
there's gonna be,
It's good to go out on.
good job on the public awareness on the fall property tax installment. I heard you everywhere.
is that right? Okay, very good. Thank you. I went to all the people who I sent emails to, try to be polite about it, and I've had other people say that too, so thank you. I'm glad it's working.
I don't know if it's more than the past, but I definitely know that it's due, so.
Right. And I've had people say that, they heard it on the radio, and that's why.
I even say your middle initial.
Oh, they're there. Yes, good.
Is that all you had tonight?
I did, and getting back to your initial question about if anybody wanted to come by and attend the proposal, then obviously you're more than welcome to do that. I just wanted to make sure that
Why don't
you're,
you keep us informed, the time and stuff, if it works out,
okay?
if that works for
So it'll
you.
be at 8:30 on the 19th, at 8:30 a.m. So you're more than welcome to
Okay,
come in and see. It's a good portion. You probably learn how we do some things and how we monitor our CDs, how we track, how we report to the state, how we do all those things. So
we learned, the accident, I think Meredith was there too, when we went to the county council training. You know, we signed up for it, and it was all treasure training.
oh, is there?
You know,
Oh,
I mean, but there was the whole county, there was a bunch of people there, so we got a little educated.
Okay, good.
That's okay, I went to one of those whole townships, so.
Yeah, no, how you can invest,
Yeah.
you know. it's-
right.
So, no.
Yeah, and in our investing is, we do it all locally. I mean, when I send out the emails for CD bids, we send it to all the local banks. And I try to keep it local, and we always get competitive rates. I always get, what's the Trust Indiana. I always see their rates, and I think we're always right there. Plus, it's convenient. I think it's helping our community. And
You did a consensus to advertise, you didn't say a fund.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask. I mean, I would like to use the edit fund. I think, you know, more than the general. But
I would concur with that.
I mean,
I agree.
if anyone have an objection to that?
No.
Okay, that's what I'll advertise it for.
Okay, because I mean, the general, it's hard to get replaced.
Now, in the future, we may have to do an adjustment to the budget for computer maintenance because we're getting more
right,
More costs.
Maintenance costs going up, yes.
But-
All right, any other questions?
No, I don't think so. Thank you for putting it in this.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.
All right. I have a few additionals that we did not cover. There was one in the solid waste sticker fund for refuse disposal at 30,000.
So any discussion on that? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve that $30,000 additional appropriation.
I'll make that motion.
Second. First and second. Discussion. Otherwise, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
In the lit ed fund, 15,000 for the Baker Tilly services we discussed last month.
Okay. I think we hashed that out last month, so entertain a motion on this.
I will make that motion.
Okay,
Second.
okay. Got a first and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
I think Wyatt was here talking about in project income, he needed $30,000 for electronic monitoring.
Okay, that's just, okay,
I'll make a motion to approve that.
okay. That's it. We got a motion to approve. May I have a second? I'll second it. Discussion. Otherwise, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
And under community transition program, the community corrections would like $3,500 for a copy.
Entertain a motion for that copier, $3,500.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Brian has made a motion. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Sonia, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
You're backing up there.
I do have ordinance 2025-15 to establish the enhanced access fund for the recorder's office. We did have this fund previously and we closed it, I think it was in 2017, and she'd like to reestablish it. into the ordinance 2025-15. For an enhanced
so-
access fund.
Due to
I
changing
think-
software, it's in your email.
Well, I think she's changing over to Fiddler, and then now they can, charge fees, and then they'll put that money into this fund. For people to have an enhanced access.
Seems like it's somewhat self-explanatory, so.
I think the statute, I have it attached, if you want to see the statute, that establishes it, what, and you'll have to appropriate it if they do any expenses out of it, which is for capital expenditures or to replace, improve, or expand the capital and reimburse operating expenses in providing enhanced access to the public information.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to approve that ordinance 2025-15.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Ryan has made a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Meredith has seconded. So all in favor say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed?
Right, come on, you take over for the wage study stuff.
Okay. Trying to catch up on some documents. Okay. So last meeting, I kind of asked everyone if they would have any ideas on how we could improve the wage study, and I gave you a breakdown of some of the thoughts of the longevity, that kind of thing. Is anyone able to turn that in? I thought we could turn that in to the wage study people if we do approve that study, the funds to approve that study, so.
And did everyone get that study? Did we send this report to everyone?
Yeah. I thought it went out to me. I got a copy of it. So does anybody have anything they could turn in that we could give to these people? I've got a list of ideas that I had. So
just send them to us, right?
Yeah, or send them to us if you have any.
I would think the biggest thing to discuss is with this group is helping us figure out how to move people inside the scale. I think that's our biggest and our hardest thing to do. And really trying to hammer, drill in on, that's what we need to figure out. COLA plus longevity, what do we call it? So they're really helping. The goal is they should really be able to help us to give us something to back these decisions that we're making.
Question on that. So when I read the proposal from this firm, it mentions specifically longevity. So they're going to incorporate that, I assume, but some of you guys acted like that was not necessary.
Well, I don't think it was going to be called longevity. They're going to use this point system. That's what we're going to learn, because it was going to be a mixture of a couple different things, not just longevity.
But they do specifically mention that.
Longevity, yeah, I know, I saw that. We talked about that with them.
So, I mean, I got some handwritten notes of what I came up with. I mean, I can email them to you, Mike, if you don't want to turn in handwritten notes, but there are some things that I kind of see a recurring theme for county governments or smaller ones. Basically what Ryan said, internal equity, fair pay based on job value. You can use the Bureau of Labor Statistics or the Gateway Indiana and target the 50th percentile typically for government jobs. And there's generally a reduction of 5 to 10% off of the 50 percentile due to the benefit package, which the benefit package is going to be the pension and or insurance benefits, which we provide because we have to assign some value to them. So I think if we shoot for a certain percentile, whatever this firm proposes, we deduct a little bit for the excellent benefits and the pension.
And Alex, that's what they're going to break out for us. They're going to break that down so that we can see that, because that was a specific thing.
And the only other thing I really put here was we should possibly going forward, always budget for a 3 to 5% increase, annual pay increase, overall for the whole thing, so we don't come into these unknowns and just outright disagreement. From my extreme to the other, just because of the unknowns of the budget, not because the employee shouldn't get a raise. So I just figured maybe going forward, we budget for a certain percentage increase. And like I said, take benefits into account, so.
And one thing that I liked is that we can stick with them. They can help us with this every year. Most counties use them every year. It's not as expensive, but they can evaluate. Once we get past the initial, I mean, I think we need some data to help us because the system, the way we do it, I think we need help. So I was pretty supportive of them. I know I talked to you at that conference. My whole table I sat with used these guys from different counties. They absolutely loved them.
Same as the one I sat at.
And highly recommended. And to be honest, they don't know how we do it without them. And I think we kind of felt that this year. So our last study was of the wages was over 10 years ago.
Little state.
It doesn't feel like that.
Well, I think it's kind of like our office. You don't know what you don't know till you know it. And you just do with what you have until you learn better.
Wait till you get that software.
One question I
I
had
won't
too.
be here, dude.
Do they evaluate external competitiveness of the local job market from the?
They take in the
They
municipals.
have to do that. Well, no, outside the municipalities, the private
Private
sector,
sector, yeah.
external competitiveness. Because that's what we always get hit on. Well, we can go, these guys are leaving, they can go here for so-and-so. And I know they will, if they're as good as you say, but I feel like besides internal equity, we need to have external competitiveness with you. So we know if we are competitive with these local employers.
Yeah, and we should find out that we may be high in some areas, we may be low in some others, but just to highlight, because I did highlight what you said about longevity, it's not just longevity, it's longevity, skill set, and defined criteria. So hopefully a roadmap for us and future council members to say, this is how it's done. So a point system is what she was explaining.
And the difficult thing about doing a comparison study with like the private businesses, they have different ways of being able to control their revenues and expenses. We're dependent upon the taxpayer, so we're a little bit more limited in that regard.
Because they don't have to publish their wages, we do.
Exactly.
And these guys specialize in this, which they specialize in the government world, right? The government sector, as opposed to a private sector, which I think is great.
And they'll take into consideration like our benefit package compared to like private.
Which is a lot better.
Well, and the other thing, just so you know, is we asked, if you read that study, we asked a study to be conducted and have them do it, have a third party do it, but to go out and ask all of our employees, give everyone a time to answer this study, but, we'll see what the study comes. The survey to all the employees of, do you value your benefits? Would you rather have more, let's get their feedback. We see the benefit up there, but from what I feel is they don't.
Yeah, but it mentions regression analysis. I bet if you actually grouped the variables by how long a person's been here, you're gonna see a different correlation to how much they value the benefit package. I think the newer employees are not gonna value it as
Oh,
much.
without a doubt.
And then that's why you're gonna have this turnover rate, so they're gonna have to find a happy medium in others, right?
Age group will be another demographic. We'll make those decisions as well.
You can tell that by who holds sick days and who doesn't.
Yes.
Who has a sick bank, who
Well,
doesn't. I mean, you can just tell.
Moral of it is it's gonna give us some data that we can sit here and read and look at to help. And I think it would be invaluable.
It will take a lot of the council time, we all have to be sold on this, if we decide to do it, because it's gonna take, that's what they reached, we have to be able to sit down and analyze and do a lot of the work. The HR director can do some of it, but I think he's depending, we would have to depend on the council to make a lot of decisions. So otherwise, anyone, I guess any other
Yeah, it
suggestions?
sounds like what I've been saying, we need to have some sort of a point system, or some sort of a way to give the employees a way to have some ability and stuff, and it seems like this is an avenue we can use, so.
Right, I think
It's great with the highway department and the community corrections kind of do with theirs, but I think this will work for the whole county.
so I guess, this is a wage study agreement by Wagner, Urban, and Shealy. It's, I thought we should, if we're gonna do it, we have to budget $60,000 on it. So I guess are we ready to have?
In theory, not to exceed that, right?
Right, it's not to exceed.
We bumped it up. It was 58, but we bumped it up in case they had a couple of extra visits.
By travel and if they'd have to stay overnight or something.
So you're the guru in this group. What's their background and how long have they been in business?
Oh my gosh.
CPAs?
They've been around
Kent
forever.
Irwin's been around for a while.
CPAs, basically.
Yes, and I've seen him many times. We did our handbook with them.
They've done our job description.
Our job descriptions, our handbook, our setup is based on what they do.
And so they don't know how far along we are. This is the highest it will be. We're hoping they get in there and say your job descriptions are good. Should tweak some since they just did that not that long ago.
Our handbook was just 3 years.
4 years ago, maybe something. So
I mean, they know what they're doing. I've seen them in presentations and
I'm not, I see them, but I don't know much about them.
Mark, he said
Alex,
he's been
also,
trying
I
to
think our, you know, when we originated this, the classifications were all based on their.
Was that what
on their.
Charmaine and Craig kind of spearheaded a few years ago?
They
we did
based-
IU.
It's
So
based
all
on,
the co-mods.
It's based on that.
it's based on this, but we had IU do some of the study.
But I think it's based, I mean, when we showed, when it was shown to them, they, you know, they said that's exactly the way we kind of recommended or whatever, so. So let's have a show of hands. Who's in favor of appropriating the $60,000 advertising, I'm saying? So it seems like a unanimous.
They get it, right?
You want to add fund?
Yes. Okay, so,
Did any of you, did you guys receive your expiring appointment list?
Yes.
Did you guys need to work
Yes.
on that for December or?
So I did some calling, you know, on the library board, Ann Shepard. Spoke with her today. She's willing and really would like to be reappointed. We've got Anthony Sang. He would love to do it again. We would appoint him to the Alcoholic Beverage Commission. And then I spoke with the Peterborough, the three people there. We're one appointee of Greg Abel. They made a change here. One of them had to, or two of them had to go 2 years, and the other one is 1 year, so they stagger. They don't expire all at the same time. So Greg Abel said he would confirm it. He was confirmed for a 2-year term. And then Rachel Steckler for the Tourism Committee, she would definitely like to be reappointed. So the ones we'd have to do is the advisory, you know, 911 Advisory Board, the Area Development, Region 15. Looks like the ones I've got are like expired. So, I mean, we got to the end of the year.
There is a page for early 2026 that has to expire and then in February, so I don't know if you want to work on it now. or you want to-
I didn't get that sheet.
For the Economic Development Commission, Dan Colligan, and Hunter Economic Development Commission, John Moon.
It was the
They
second.
expire February 1st.
Okay. So
The one that Dan has, that's a year, that expires every year, right? It's a 1 year.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No.
Dan Colligan is a double 4-year term.
Oh.
So does anybody want to reach out to them, Dan, or?
That's not what I reached out to him on for this year. That's why I was thinking it was, I know I spoke with Dan, I did. And
Did he take somebody else's
worked for German
position?
American.
Did he fill in an
Hold on, I can
unexpired term?
I don't know. And John
I
Monday,
think it was, hold on.
that's from Honeyburg, right? Yeah, he's from Honeyburg.
Hunter.
Well, we got another month.
Yeah.
We can appoint him in December, right, or get the paperwork.
In December, so we just want to get the paperwork ready.
It was November the 4th, and I left the voicemail, I said, received that, yes, I will serve another term for Burden EDC.
Okay, so
Okay,
we
so
got
he's-
So
that.
it was November of last year, yeah. It was November, yeah.
So 1 year.
That's why I was thinking it was 1
Yeah.
year.
I'll check
Do
on
you
it.
want to reach out to him again, or do you think, so he knows?
Oh,
it's-
I can, I just want to make sure, yeah, that it for sure is 4 years.
We'll check on that.
Okay.
Alex, would you know John Monday, or?
I know of him, I mean, yeah, I don't mind asking him, I don't know him well.
I mean, I can call him too.
Okay, yeah, I'm not, I know who he is, but, I'm not real familiar with him, to be honest.
And then everybody else on the council decide, you want to think about being reappointed. Okay.
I can do 911 again. I'm okay with that.
And I'll do solid waste again.
Okay, and then, that I had brought up during our budget hearing, we had the DuBois County Park. We were trying to figure out a way of, that wouldn't cost the county any money to have reservations set, online or what. And I think, Brian, I'm gonna turn it over to you. You had done some research on this.
Yep, so as I told her, I was gonna work, so I'm at my beginning stage of this. I've got the research done. I'm gonna meet with the park director in Carson next, talk to the commissioners about it, but it's really, seems pretty great. It's a company called Firefly. That's who's the only main they're integrated with all of them. So we do this, it cost us nothing. There's no setup, no onboarding fees, no monthly there's no monthly fees. No contracts. They charge per reservation $3.50. That's how they make their money. So I know whenever I book anything on the state sites, anyways, I get a convenience fee of $3.50 per reservation.
Right, so we would just tack that on
So in
too.
theory, we could either bump them up or just have the consumer pay. But I did want to let you guys know that we were working on this. It'll have a nice map. They'll be able to check in and out. People can pre-register so they're not driving here and hoping to get a spot. I think the traffic of this will be so much more busy. Being able to reserve.
Photos of what each of those sites.
Yeah,
look like.
you get with the parks people, you put them up, the descriptions. But so like they were saying, if you have 10 sites that are the same, you put one and you just clone them.
Yeah.
And change the picture. I mean, it's not as crazy as it sounds.
Sounds good.
It integrates with all the online camping ones. So RA America, I'm really familiar with them from what we use. I have some trials and videos you all could watch if you want, but I know I'm pretty familiar with it as pricing. They'll do an onboarding class with them, and then we just have to find out who can manage that. So I'm hoping
Does that take
Carson,
a lot of management?
they said no.
Would just be initially getting the data.
I don't even think it's gonna be
photos
that
and
bad. It's
stuff.
gotta be better than driving around and picking money up off a
Yeah.
hanging spoon.
Meaning that our current workforce there could handle and doing that, we wouldn't have to have volunteers.
Correct,
to help
no.
get
I
somebody
don't
to start.
I don't think so. So I just want you to know it's in the works. Hopefully I can give you guys a better update after I meet with them.
So, I mean, I don't want to be negative on it because I think it's a great, there's a lot of people in the county that love to go out there Thursday night, park their trailer, because they know the sites they got, so they could do that in advance.
You just book it for Thursday.
I mean, they could.
You can't just drive out there and park.
You can't just drive out there and park. It's the same with us going to Patoka. It's what we do.
Yeah, and that's gonna be good with the system, Mike, because I've seen, at least during 4-H week, people think, well, it's my truck, I really didn't stay the night there, so I'm just gonna skip a few payments on the old camping night. We lost revenue potential, but we didn't, there was no one camping there, but their truck should have.
This will bring money in. All this money that just went, this will bring some money in. I agree.
Okay,
Makes
well,
sense?
thanks for doing that.
I'll keep you up to date.
I mean, the only other thing is, I think we had that department head meeting and Sandy sent out the minutes, but I think the most important
They're
thing.
not minutes, they're notes.
Or no, I'm sorry.
People call me and go, you didn't say that exactly right. I go, they're not minutes, they're just notes.
All right. But anyway, the Deaconess Clinic is going to open up January 1st next year. So, I think it's when you read into that, if you haven't read it, to me, seems like a great thing to maybe hold our health costs down, insurance costs and stuff down. So I don't know. Otherwise, I'll go around the table. And Son, do you have anything else?
I do not
Thank
have
you.
anything new.
Covered it all. No, I've said enough.
I don't think I have anything. Meredith?
Only just that and you're part of these meetings, and Sandy too, that the comprehensive plan that we continue to meet on a bi-weekly basis and have had a first steering committee meeting, one of 5 of those, so really just kind of the preliminary stages right now at this point. And that firm is called American Structure Point that we elected to go with after some investigation in late spring and early summer, so.
Alex, do you have anything?
No, I think Levi addressed the AES public meeting he's gonna participate in. I think Mark Flint, Pike County maybe commissioner is a consultant that works with them. So they're gonna hopefully have a lot of public information on the contingency plan and what they're actually gonna show their renderings or the drawings they're gonna do for that potential solar installation in southwest Du Bois County. And a lot of people have asked me, and I actually came to a commissioners meeting with a guy that's asked a lot of questions. So hopefully we can get some information, and I think Levi's been pretty on top of it.
Doug, do you have anything? No. Okay. Sandy, do you have anything? Okay. Okay, this is the good public comments.
We are not exactly members of the public, especially not in this county.
Okay, so you have nothing else to
No.
say? Okay. Otherwise,
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
so all in favor, say
All right.
aye.
Aye.
Close the meeting of the Du Bois County Council.
I just meant because we're far from home, not because we don't feel welcome to this meeting.
You can
Still
still,
public.
you can still